Hello friends, today we are going to learn about data types in C#. I have created a small JPEG file to explain. Let me open that. Open with the MS Paint. Now you can see here we have a tree structure of data types that are present in C#. Now data types. Okay, what is data type? Data type means the type of data with which you are going to work. Now data type actually indicates three important meanings or things, you can say. The three important things are, first one, it tells the type of data that you are going to work with or that you are going to use. Okay, and the next one is, it is going to tell the size of data, that is the amount of data with which you can work or amount of data that you can store in a specific type of variable or a constant. Okay, first one is what type of data, the second one is what is the size of data, and the third one is the operations that you can perform on that data. Okay, now let us take an example for that. Let us take an example of an integer. Okay, the type of data that you are going to store, if you are making a variable of type integer, that means it can hold only integer type of data. Integers means the whole numbers which are not going to contain the decimal points. Okay, that is the type of data. And the second one is the size of data. Size of data means how much or how large a number or how larger number that you can store in that variable. That is, let us take, you have made a variable of type integer. You can store a number. Okay, the maximum number is a very huge number. I will show you. That is, integer takes the size of 4 bytes. That means you can store 4 bytes of data. And the last one is the operations that you can perform on data. Operations that you can perform on integer type of data are like you can perform addition operation, subtraction, multiplications, right? Even you can compare two integer numbers, right? So that is the type of operations that you can perform on a type of that specific type of data. Let us take an example of another data type, that is string. Now what you can do with the string type, you can store some value which is of type string, maybe name of a player or an enemy, right? And size of the data is like a total number of characters that the string is going to hold. And what are the operations that you can perform on the string type is like you can concatenate two strings, or you can compare two strings, or you can convert one string like a capital. If a string is having all the letters capital, you can convert everything to smaller letters, right? All the characters into a smaller letters, like two lowercase function you can use. So that is about the operations, what you can perform. That is about data type. First one is the type of data, the second one is size of data, and the third one is operations of data. Okay, what you can perform. Okay, so we cleared now what is a data type. Now if you are working in a game, you will be working with different types of data. Okay, C# has two different types of data mainly. One is a primitive type, another one is non-primitive type. The primitive type means they are basic data types. Okay, and non-primitive types are actually called as a derived data types. Derived means they will be made by using these primitive types. Okay, the primitive types actually store only one value, whereas non-primitive types can store many values. Let us take an example of an array is a non-primitive type. Okay, like it is a list, right? Structures which can hold many values, class, and any other data structures like stack, queues, those are all non-primitive data types. Now when you come to primitive types, again there are two different types. One is a value type, another one is the reference type. We will understand the difference between value type and reference type soon. Now, the value type means what? Actually, the variable is going to hold the value, actual value. Okay, let us take an example of you are creating a variable which is of type integer, and you will create a variable like int num is equal to 22. Now what happens there means the 22 will be actually stored in that memory location, the num memory location. Okay, whereas when you come to reference types, actually the reference types are not going to hold the value itself. They are going to hold the reference or the address of the memory location. Okay, we will understand the difference much more clearly. Now in value types, again you have two types, numeric type and non-numeric type. Okay. Numeric type, again you have two types, integer and real. Now real are going to hold the decimal point, whereas integers are whole numbers. Okay, they are not going to hold any decimal numbers. Okay, decimal point, right? Now integer again divided into four types. One is first one is a byte, the second one is a short, the next one is int, and the last one is a long. These are all integers only. They are going to store integer values only. Now only the difference is the size. Okay, the size of data. Okay, now the byte is going to be of 1 byte. Okay, it is exactly 1 byte, whereas short is going to be 2 bytes, and the integer is going to of 4 bytes, and long is going to be 8 bytes, and float is going to take 4 bytes, whereas the double is going to take the 8 bytes of memory location. Now what are real numbers which are going to contain the decimal numbers? Okay. Float and double are the two types that we will be using. Even we have one more data type called as decimal, which is very useful. Okay, we will see later. Okay, that is also one type of data type which you can put in the real numbers only, which can hold integers as well as real numbers. And the next one is a non-numeric type of data. Non-numeric means which are not numeric type. Now the Boolean is a true false type of a value. Like let us take an example that if you want whether the enemy is alive or dead, then you will be using either true or false, right? So such kind of values you are going to store in the Boolean type, true or false. And whereas character is of 2 bytes, okay, it takes 2 bytes of memory location. That is non-numeric types, and these are numeric types. Okay, and I am showing you the size of the data types. Okay, and object and string depending on the values that you store. Okay, let us take an example of a string. If you have a name, let us take the name is enemy. Let us say ENEMY, enemy 1. Let us take. Now this is a string, right? Let us take you have. Let me take a string called as ENEMY, enemy 1. Then what will be the size of this data is each character takes, we know that already 2 bytes, you can see. So 2 into the number of characters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So 6 into 2 is 12 bytes. This will take total 12 bytes. Okay, that is about finding out how much the string type will take. Okay, the size of the string type. How do you find out the size of a string type? Okay, it depends on the total number of characters plus each character size, that is 2 bytes. You have to multiply. Okay. Now I hope you understood what are the types of data types that we have and their size. Now we will be getting an idea about what is this size indicates. Now let me take an example of byte. Okay. Now first, the smallest unit that you have in a computer is called as a bit. Okay, bit, bit. Now bit means either 0 or 1. Okay, it will represent either 0 or 1. Whereas you will be having a term called as nibble. Nibble indicates 4 bits. 4 bits. That means, an example if I have to give, like 0010. This is an example of a nibble which has 4 bits. Okay. And another one is a byte. The next one is a byte. Byte indicates 8 bits. Okay, 8 bits equal to 1 byte. 8 bits means, an example if I have to give, let us take 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 1. So this is an 8-bit number. Now how do you find out what is the maximum value that a byte can store, or a short can store, or a int can store, or a long can store? Is a simple formula that you can use. Okay, just know that byte is 8 bits. So in a byte memory location you can store 2 raised to the power of 8 number, which is actually equal to 256. Okay, you can have 256 numbers you can store in this byte. That means the smaller number will be always starts with a 0. If it is an unsigned number, unsigned means only positive values. Okay, 0 to 255. You can store 0 to 255 in a byte variable. I think I am correct. 2 raised to the power of 8 is 256. Okay, and it can store the maximum value 255. Okay, 0 to 255. That is how do you identify? How can you calculate yourself that what a short can hold? How much? What is the maximum value of a short if it is an unsigned short? There are other types also are there. Okay. Now the byte is already unsigned. Unsigned means it can hold only positive, whereas short is a signed data type. Signed means it can hold positive as well as negative, whereas you are also having the other types like a U short. U short indicates it is unsigned short. It can hold only unsigned numbers. Okay, it is also of 2 bytes. Okay, even you have U int, that is unsigned integer, which is actually going to take 4 bytes. Even you have U long. U long is also going to take the 8 bytes. Okay, 8 bytes. Okay, 4 bytes and 2 bytes. This is an unsigned long. Unsigned means it can hold only positive values, but the values you can find out very easily. Anyhow, we will see the minimum value and maximum value of each and every data type, and we are also going to know whether whether I have told you here properly or not, whether the byte is exactly 1 byte, whether the short is 2 byte or not. We can find out all those things using the Unity. Okay, so this is a formula. Remember that what you need to do is, if you want to find out the total number of numbers that you can store in a short data type, is you just need to write 2 raised to the power of how many bits that short can take. Now 2 bytes means 8 plus 8, that is 16 bits. So 2 raised to the power of 16, which is actually 65,536, I think so. That is the maximum numbers that it can store. Okay, what is that is about the data types that we have. Okay, now I will make you clear about what is the difference between value types and reference type. Okay, soon. That is the little bit summary of the data types. Okay. Yeah. Now, as I told that you can have a positive as well as negative values in the unsigned data types. Here the short, int, long are unsigned, whereas byte, U short, where byte, ushort, uint and ulong are unsigned, whereas short, int, long, float, double, they are all signed. That means you can store in them positive as well as negative values. Okay. Now why I am talking about the data types, why they are important. Okay, they are very useful. You should know when to use which data type for the first thing. And the second thing you should know is which data I have to use. Let us take one simple example of a game. Let us take that you want to store the score. Okay, SCORE, score. You know that the score will be maximum 0 to 100. Let us take, you know that the maximum value that I need to store is 0 to 100. You know the maximum value. Then which data type I have to use actually for this? Okay, if I use the short, then what actually you can store this 100 in 1 byte memory location, because we know that we can store up to 255, right? Up to 255 we can store in a byte. Then we should not use the short to create this score data or score variable. Why? Because you will be wasting 1 byte of memory location. Okay, that is really bad, because optimization is the most important one when you are working in games. Okay, especially you will be making mobile games and all, right? The mobile based games. So remember that the data types, you should carefully choose which type of data I have to use. Okay, so for score I prefer always use better byte, because you will not be having, let us take, you might be having more values, maybe more than 1000 or more than 255, then you can use the short. And again you should consider whether you should use a ushort or short, because score will maybe you will not be having a score negative values. Okay, if you don't have a score in negative, then it is better to use unsigned short, because unsigned short will store only positive values. Okay. If you want to use the short, when you should use the short data type? Okay, short data type is going to be used when you have both positive and the negative values. Okay, maybe the score you might be having the negative also. At that time you can use the short, because you cannot store the negative value in the byte because it is already unsigned type. So definitely you should use a short data type. Okay, so that is about the basic information or the theoretical information about the data types. And yeah, we will be looking in the next tutorial a small program, and there you will be getting what is the size of data, what is the maximum value, and when you have to use which data type. Okay, and also maybe the difference between value and reference types I will explain in the next tutorial. Okay, so thank you guys, thank you very much, see you in the next tutorial.